car with now 91,000 miles. So I don't know what to name this thing. We get to 500,000 subscribers. This car will be given to one of the subscribers. We have a challenge. Hello. Thanks, Mike. So I'm a little low on fuel. We'll just use some 93 octane that we have here at the shop and go for this ride to Mexico. Matt, grab some gas. Bum, 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 bum. It is a Whipple, right?
It is a Whipple. It says Whipple. You didn't even know it was a Whipple. You're like, it's Whipple based. It says Whipple. What is this thing dyno?
435. We don't even know what this dynoed yet. I know I said I dynoed it, but I'm going to find out after this. We gotta do that again! I missed my shift! Suck it, Mike! 1 and 1. Is he sad back there? Back there in Mexico? All by himself. I'm by myself too, but I'm happier now. Who manually shifts the auto and misses the gear? I do. That's this guy. That was my bad. Woo! She's a little down on power. She's a little bit on the lean side. Well, you know, we'll have to remedy that in the next video. Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. We are doing the progression of the C7. Today is a special day. We're going to do flex fuel, except we're going to do it remotely in person. To understand what that means, we're going to need the help of my beautiful assistant, Abigail. Abby, can you say hi to everybody out there in YouTube land? Say hi. I don't know how well this is going to work. But Abby, you are going to demonstrate today what it's like to remote tune the old way. Okay? Do you know what that means?
No.
No. Well, I want you to take my laptop and hold it on your lap, just like this. Can you do that?
Yeah.
You're good. Now that's what you would usually have to do. You'd usually have to have your laptop, your HP tuner's device with a wire that's usually too short, plug that into your OBD2 port, plug it in your laptop, log the files, send them off to your tuner, wait for the revision, get the revision back. You have to be connected to the internet to flash the transmission because it has to go through some unlocker service and all sorts of fun stuff, depending on the gear of the car. It was very cumbersome. Now we can close that. Here, Abby, hand that back to me.
I can't lift it.
You could not lift it? Okay, well, luckily Daddy can. Now, it is much less cumbersome. We don't need the laptop anymore. We can now safely store the laptop somewhere else. Hold that.
You should do that.
I'm just kidding. We don't need that there anymore. Now we can simply use our cell phone to tune it. If you have an MPVI2 or an MPVI2 Plus, need it for an Apple phone, you can use your cell phone to have your tuner remote tune. Yes, when I say your tuner, I mean you have to go through a dealer like me, Complete Street Performance, or somebody else that's direct with HP tuners.
Daddy, it's not on.
That's when you use the Tune Delivery Network, that's their new Fandango app, to be able to load tunes right onto your car through your cell phone from your tuner. You can have multiple tunes, all sorts of fun stuff. And if you don't have a tuner, it's still useful because sometimes a check engine light pops on when you're driving around. Well, you hit that fancy little button there to find out what the check engine light is. It does it all through Bluetooth seamlessly. It's wonderful. I'm going to show you how to use that in more depth in an upcoming video. In this video today, we are just going to go through the flex fuel install on my car and show you the cool gains that we have on this C7. Does that sound good, Abby? Do you know anything that I'm talking about?
No.
No. Okay, so flex fuel and wideband install coming at you right now.
What does my hair look like today? Oh, weird. Oh well, here we go. So we have the flex fuel system going in right now for the C7. This bad boy right here, this is a flex fuel sensor. This is a GM flex fuel sensor. You'll find a lot of people use this on a lot of different cars now because it's cheap and very effective. It has 2 quick connects, one on each side, to basically plug it into the female side of each line. It's nifty. A lot of times you need another connector in order to make this work. And what we're going to do is install this in the car, but it's not as easy as just putting this in the fuel line. We have to actually wire up the connector. We have to wire a line to the computer, which was not there from the factory. Even though it has the capability, GM, what the F? You actually have to go through the wheel well. It's pretty easy if you take the fender off. We're not gonna take the fender off. We did move the fender a little bit. So, here, shine that light in there. This is the computer. And what you need to do back here is you need to actually put an additional pin in for the flex fuel sensor to feed into the computer, and then activate it. You won't know if it works until it's programmed. If you do not program it, you can't test to see if it works at all. So once we hook up the rest of the lines and get the flex fuel sensor in the car, what we're going to do is use the remote tuning device, well, or an MPVI2. This is both from HP Tuners, and we're going to use their tune delivery network, not to keep on throwing all sorts of different crazy names at you, but we're going to do this remotely. We're going to tune it through my phone and verify it through my phone that it's working, just as if we were remote tuning your car. So we're going to be using this fancy AEM wideband. This is the 0334, the 300334. This one's really cool because it integrates right into HP Tuners, either their RTD device or the MPVI2 device, or 2 Plus. We're on the pluses now because it works with Apple products, because Apple needed extra help. But this is really cool because it just integrates seamlessly, no pro feature set needed, and it makes a remote tuning a breeze. We're gonna install this permanently in my car. Sometimes you can set it up to be like not so permanent, you know, a portable one, which I do have a portable version of this, but because we're gonna be doing so much of this, we're setting it up permanently, and we're doing it in the drug cubby here. No drugs, just receipts in mine. I don't do drugs. I'm nut job enough. So we're putting in the wideband into the rear O2 bung of the factory header system, and we'll be feeding this guy through whatever needs to be fed through. There's this pass-through guy that is really, really cool. It makes it so there's no interference of data, so that way if you have an analog like wideband that like you could configure the offsets wrong, it's not an issue. It's just seamless. I love it. It's great for remote tuning. It's great for even tuning your own car because you just don't have that signal loss. You know, any of the, basically it looks like an EKG and you kind of have to feel it out. Well, you don't have to do that with this. So that's why we're using this to remote tune, or because we're going to remote tune this one, even though we're going to do it in person. So it's going to be cumbersome, but might as well show you guys the whole process here. So let's see what kind of progress we're making on the wideband install. What the f, Mike?
This is what you have to do.
Oh my God. What did you do?
You picked one of the hardest cars to install a wideband gauge on.
I'm gonna kill you.
All right.
No, this is what has to happen to get the wideband where we wanted it, which I don't like to have it like in my face all the time, but I do like to have it there when I want to see it. And that's a great spot. What you want me to do work now?
Yeah,
what do I pay you for?
Just hold that. Have fun.
I really do like this button. This button came on the car. It is freaking sweet. I don't know where you can get that button from, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like me. I'm beautiful on the inside, obviously. This top doesn't come off or anything? Okay.
The YouTube video I watched told me not to take it off.
Okay, because I want a new shifter. That one's a little worn. I don't know how that's worn. Like the rest of the car is in phenomenal shape for 90,000 miles, and it's like that part's a little worn. And somebody pointed it out to me that the shifter's worn, and I can't unsee it now.
Now I can't see it.
You guys ever have that happen where you can't like unsee something every single time? Was it you that pointed out the shifter?
Probably. I'm an a-hole like that.
You are an a-hole. This is nuts. So we will have the wideband and the flex fuel all sorted out. We're going to loom it up. From this point of view here, we have it pre-wired with a tap for the power for the flex fuel sensor, and it's going to be a pretty cool first mod. And then we will have more, because why stop there? So here is the center console, you know, hidden chamber of secrets.
Cubby.
It's a Harry Potter reference. Harry Pothead reference, probably, in this case.
That's the
and
V3.
we're about to do the money shot. Go ahead, Mike. Money shot this thing.
I mean, I don't know if I like that.
You don't like that?
No. So I'm gonna do it right in the corner.
Yep.
So when this
Yep.
sits in, and just explain it. It's a little dull.
Oh yeah, just drill this through your leg.
That's not gonna reach my leg.
It's not?
No.
Okay, good.
Oh, that's right. There we go. I have to get two connectors through it. So.
Okay, so it's got a hole in it. Show us the other side. Nice and easy here. You can see, look at that. There's a hole.
Can you see it?
And we'll feed the wires through.
Gauge will sit, and we'll cover your hole.
Yep, cover my hole, Mike. Thanks. All right, so looks like we've got the fancy flex fuel sensor on this bad boy. And behind screen number 1, we got the fancy wideband sensor. So that looks really, really nice, and definitely out of the way. It's there when you want it to be, and not when you don't. So now that the flex fuel's on and the wideband's on, we are going to remote tune this thing in person. Now, as you guys saw from the previous video, well, it did not do too good on the dyno for its break-in. I'm saving that log, but I'm not going to use my laptop to tune this thing. I'm going to just use my fancy Android phone. I got my handy-dandy MPVI2. I don't have any cord attached to it. I'm just going to, I plugged my HP tuners in. And now I'm going to put it in accessory mode. This is fancy. And then we're going to load up the tune delivery network. Read vehicle. It says to put the vehicle on run, all that fun stuff. We're just going to read it right now. So we got the file, and then I'm sending it off to me, and we're going to walk around to the other shop and see what it looks like. I can see that 2016 Corvette is on my list. I can open the tune remotely, which is really cool, and then edit it and load it back in. So I'm going to open that guy. At the same time, I can load on a specific scanner configuration. So I can say, let's make it so we're going to scan with this data. And now my data is in. I can load a tune on there and go back to my car. Now, I know our baseline wasn't too hot. I imagine that there's something up with the intake, that the mass airflow itself is probably reading a little off. But the only change I'm going to make right now is to make sure that flex fuel works, and then we'll begin tuning it. So that's what I would do for a customer in this situation. I'd send them, I'd want to get a log of their car to begin with, make sure that it's running healthy. They send me their tune and that log back, and then I can make adjustments from there. Okay, so I'm going to write this to the vehicle.
now that it's synced. So it had to load the tune onto the HP tuners. Now it's getting loaded from the HP tuners onto the car itself.
No.
What was that?
So here at CSP, our trees rain Corvette logos.
That's pretty impressive. Look at that. Put it on the logo. See what it is. It like exact?
I think it's more C6 flag.
Oh man, no, it's like it's there. It just it fell apart a little bit because it's fall. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually start a log, which is this button here. I can start the log. It's plugged in. Now I've already put on the specific configuration file, so it should log everything, including the wideband whenever I plug it in, which I don't have it plugged in, but I can see that, you know, we are getting some information here. All we're going to do now is use this as a test to make sure flex fuel is working. If it's not working, it's going to rest at 40%. If it is working, it's going to well, show me what the actual thing is. Sending the file to the server, and now I should have it on my computer. And the log file, let's see, what does the log file say? I had two explanations. Either the map is dirty or one of these guys put E85 in the car by accident. And survey says alcohol percent 45%. Apparently we got E45 in this thing. We got E45 in this thing. We got to drain it all out.
Oh, nice. I like that.
So we swap a lot of fuels, and Matt has smelled E85. Where you go, Matt? Matt!
I better test that sniffer.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna drain this out. Let's start over. But we did race Mike like this.
I need to blow up, please.
It didn't blow up. Whoops.
Now that we've verified we have the wrong fuel content in it, we're going to fix that by draining the fuel completely out using this little device that we made ourselves, which basically it is an adapter kind of Schrader valve thing, because there is no Schrader valve on these. So we made that. We're going to just plug into it, and then when we disconnect it, it should actually not do anything like it shouldn't.
Yeah, because if you look,
fuel everywhere.
this, as you screw this in, it pushes the Schrader valve.
Yeah, so ideally, this is something that if we put it on, you wouldn't have to take it off. Although how we have it right here, it's going to hit the hood, but we could move it over here. It's just, this is our first time testing it, and when you put stuff on the flex fuel sensor, you usually don't get it back.
So all we got to do now is start it up. Boop-a-doo.
And we can open the valve. Look at that. And you can, sometimes you have to control it. The factory fuel pump kind of do its thing, but this is the quick and easy way. Basically, when this dies, it's empty, and then we get to fill it up with actual 93. Where's Matt? Matt.
And then we should be looking pretty good. I hope. I mean, otherwise this car might be a bucket of shit, and it still is faster than Mike's wife's car. Yeah. It's not faster than his other piece of shit. Which piece of shit?
I mean, it's not faster than the Fox.
It's definitely not faster than the Fox. Yet.
Definitely faster than T-Bird.
I hope so. I hope so, for the love of God.
Gas is in. I checked with I checked with my laptop. We're down to 12.2% ethanol content, so that's close enough to complete pump gas. I am not going to cheat from this point on. We're going to just load up the phone and go for that base tune, which is just the flex fuel change, the factory flex fuel change. Everything else is factory. So factory timing, factory everything, just activating the flex fuel sensor and the fueling for it. So we're going to start logging here. See, nothing's connected to the HP tuners down here. It is doing that blue light means it's doing like Bluetooth stuff. Wideband's hooked up, and let's see what she puts down. a run with just flex fuel enabled on the factory tune. So we're at that 389 now, which is nice. This is different than when we raced Mike, because look at the difference. You can see there is a major torque difference, not so much in the top end, but look at the difference in the air-fuel ratios. They are dramatically leaner, way lean. Car wasn't too thrilled about that, was pulling a lot of timing on E45, which is crazy. So that's a pretty good improvement. We've got our factory with flex at 389, our factory with pump gas at 389, but our factory with flex at 416. A beautiful improvement across the whole band, the whole RPM band, and we did tighten up the fueling a little bit in between that. So definitely a wonderful gain. Really happy about this. I am noticing that I'm getting a little bit of false knock. Because I'm getting false knock, I want to get in the engine area a little bit faster to give it a good bill of health. So instead of going down the intake path and having to deal with that false knock, we're going to go straight to adding a Cook's header with caddet mids, and that should take away any rattles. Like, I'm kind of suspecting that the factory cats might have you know, a little thing going on with them right now. It is high miles, and that's one of the things that we face with high miles. So we're going to go right to a new exhaust system, and it should sound pretty good then, because it's quiet as can be right now. Taking this bad boy off the dyno to do a first round of real modifications. I was originally going to start with the intake right on the dyno, intake manifold, throttle body, do that all on the dyno for you guys, but honestly, I think the cats on here are kind of effed. Look at that technique. So these bad boys are off. Look at all that space for activities. Now, before you throw this up, it's important that you also ooh boy. First run with the headers. Expect some smoke back here because, well, they're brand new headers, and once we get this thing really hot, a lot of those oils that did not burn off idling are going to burn off right away. So